Mason Marchment continues his stellar play with a 3-point night as the Stars bend but do not break in a 5-3 win over the Avs.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Happy Saturday, Stars fans. I hope you had a fantastic Thanksgiving. And for those of you who are not American, I hope you had a wonderful Thursday and are enjoying your weekend so far. The Dallas Stars picked up a massive win last night over the Avalanche by a final score of 5-3. Mason Marchment was great. Miro Heiskanen has been brilliant in the month of November. We'll touch on him, but it leaves me asking the question, are the Stars doing this once again with a 5-man rotation on defense? I have some concerns. I'll share those with you today as the Stars prepare for the big game, the big one tomorrow against the Jets as they look to cut in to that Central Division lead. Today's episode is brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, current account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. So the Stars hang on for a 5-3 win at the American Airlines Center last night, where the Stars have been very good this season. And there were a lot of positives out of the game. First off, as I say pretty much every time the Stars play Colorado, Cale Makar, Rantanen, and McKinnon are going to get their looks and they're going to get their chances. It's about, can you limit them to as few as possible and not let the others beat you? And last night, the Stars did that. The 3 goal scorers, Val Nichushkin, Artturi Lehkonen, and Mikko Rantanen, which pretty much make up one line for the Avs. And the best line for Colorado, of course, was McKinnon, Lehkonen, and Nichushkin. They ended up with 6 scoring chances in the game. And for the most part, the Avs heavily outchanced Dallas last night. At 5-on-5, it was 24-16. In high danger chances, it was 9-5. If you put all situations together, the Avs outchanced the Stars 36-23, and they had 17 high danger chances to the Stars 10. So Jake Ottinger was brilliant in the game, and the Avs got in front of Ottinger a bit too much for my liking, especially in that first period early where Lindell had his pocket picked and McKinnon hit the pipe, and then Otter came up with the big save. But I thought for the most part, in the second period especially, the Stars did a really, really good job of limiting the Avs in their own zone. They were much better defensively and structured than they were in that first period, where it just felt like Colorado was sort of coming in waves, and Dallas got a power play and they scored on it, which was huge. Their power play has been abysmal on home ice. It was last in the NHL. They scored twice last night, and they go 4 for 5 on the penalty kill, which is very good, especially with all the weapons that Colorado has. So the special teams battle, they won. They got the better goaltender, and they won. That's usually how the game of hockey goes, right? If you get the better goaltending and you get the better of special teams, you're going to win a lot of hockey games. Unfortunately, it feels like the script when the Stars and Avs meet. Stars get up by 3, and then they just have to hang on for dear life the rest of the way. And I'm sure many of you had flashbacks to Monday night when Colorado scored twice in the first 10 minutes of the third period, and you're like, oh no, here we go again. But I will say they had a couple of huge kills in the game. The big kill in the second period, right after the Stars went up 3-1, that was a huge kill. And then Rope scores late in the period on the power play to make it 4-1 heading to the third. Stars got a massive kill in that second period, and they didn't give up a shot on the power play. Then in the third period, about halfway through the frame, they get another huge kill there. They did give up a few more shots, but Ottinger was big and made a couple of huge saves. And then after that moment, the final 8.5 minutes, I thought Dallas was really, really good. Thought they were structured well. They gave up a few chances here and there, as you would expect. But for the most part, they did an excellent job closing out Colorado, especially at 6-on-5 too. They didn't give up anything, and Marchment was able to score the empty netter to seal it. And he was fantastic. 3-point night for him, a couple of goals and an assist. I mean, the assist on the Sagan power play goal was beautiful. Vintage Sagan, man, he cannot be stopped. He's got 9 goals this season. Marchment is up to 9 now, and the beat goes on for that line, right? I mean, they ended up with 5 scoring chances on the night, and they just continue to do what they do. Rope had a really, really good third period. I thought Jason Robertson as well could be thrown into that conversation. Had a few really, really good looks. Georgiev stoned him a few times in the final 20. You would like for Dallas to push a little bit in the third period. They get stuck in this mode where they just sit on their heels and they just allow Colorado to take it to them. And next thing you know, it's 4-3 when you're up 4-1 coming into the period. It can't be good for the health of the Stars, let alone Stars fans. But you know, I think if you looked at the deserved win meter, it was probably in favor of Colorado with the amount of chances they generated. But I thought Dallas did a fairly good job at limiting the McKinnons, Makars of the world, who are just beasts, right? And you almost have to accept you're going to give up a handful of scoring chances to them. And Makar got to the net early a few times, and he set up the Rantanen goal in the third period, which was beautiful as Rantanen just, I mean, sniped it one timer and put it top shelf. About the only place he could beat it or could beat Ottinger as he was getting over. But it was a big win, and there was multiple players that had hands in it. Number one is Miro Heiskanen. He's putting on a clinic. I wish Miro would play Makar every single game. I think it brings out the best of him. He won't say it, but when he's on the same sheet as Makar, it elevates his game. I feel like every time the Stars play the Avs, Miro's at a different level. I mean, the way he was using the wand last night, breaking up plays with his stick, offensively jumping up in the rush. He created that goal for Mason Marchment on the stuff attempt in that first period. I mean, he's all over the sheet. You look at his expected goals, it was the highest among Dallas Stars last night at 1.83. He played 24.5 minutes. He was all over the place. I mean, shots on goal when he's on the ice was 13-10. 13 was the most out of any other Stars player. Scoring chances were 12. When 4 is on the ice and playing the way he was last night, he's easily a top 3 defenseman in the world. Easily. And I think Makar brings that out of him because he gets all the love. And yes, Makar is fantastic, man. I would never, ever say he wasn't. Miro's right there. I mean, yes, the point production is never going to be of the Quinn Hughes and the Makar. Who cares? Who cares? And yes, I want Miro to be recognized in that world. Who cares? Miro Heiskanen is everything you would want in an NHL defenseman, and we're absolutely spoiled to watch him every night. And Makar is great. Miro Heiskanen is great, if not just a tick below him. And he deserves the world of credit for the way he played last night. And I've been hard on him to begin the year. He did not get off to a great start, but recently you look, he's on a 4-game point streak. He's got a couple of multi-point nights. He's starting to he's starting to find a rhythm here, and that is good for Dallas, and they need him to, because the back end is a bit slim, and obviously Pete DeBoer is not happy with Matt Dumba and the way he's fitting in to the system. So Miro's going to have to carry a lot of the load. Number 2, after I just pumped the tires out of 4, Esa Lindell, another big night from him, especially on the penalty kill. In that third period kill I talked about, he was on the ice for the entire 2 minutes. He continues to be a stalwart. He continues to be a steady presence and a defenseman that you're going to get a consistent game out of night in and night out. Esa Lindell, heck of a night. He played the most out of any other star last night, played over 27 minutes. And I mean, he's obviously a huge factor on the kill as well. Came up with a couple of big blocks in the game. You could say that for Miro too. Miro ended up with 3 blocks on the night. Lindell had another just Esa Lindell kind of game. He was big, and the Stars got enough offense. They had enough offense. You score 5, you should beat teams if you score 5, especially with Otter in net. But I wish the Stars would help him out a bit more. The first 10 minutes is everything that has been wrong with the Dallas Stars this season. Just not a lot of energy, not winning battles. Number 1, they just don't win a lot of those 50-50 pucks. And when they're not winning battles and they're passive and they're playing that way, they take penalties. And it gives teams chances on the power play, as we saw on Monday against Carolina, and good teams will make you pay. They were outshot 32-24 on the night. And, the Avs took it to them for portions of the game. I think the first period was their worst period, where I thought the Avs were on it. And, I mean, you could make the argument Colorado should have had the lead, but, Dallas took advantage of their opportunities, and they converted and they executed, and they built out a nice little cushion. And as I said, it seems like the script, Colorado is going to make it really interesting, and they did last night. But Marchment with a 3-point night. Jamie Benn, have to give him some love too. Thought he had a strong game with Logan Stankoven out. They put Steele and Dodonov with him, and I thought that line was actually very decent. I probably you can make the argument maybe the second best line on the night. Just maybe a step behind Rope, Johnston and Robertson. I thought they had a good night, and Ben got to the net, Miro with the shot, and it was a slam dunk for Ben. He had a goal and assist in the game. I thought that line in general had a nice game. Steele created the Ben goal. I mean, Dallas didn't have any numbers. It was a 3-on-4 going the other way. Steele did a great job of working laterally across the line. It bought him some space, and then Miro kind of got left on the far side of the rink. As the Avs got puck watching a bit too, they were all looking at it. It was 4 Avs. They were looking at Steele, and then Miro put it on net, and Ben was there to clean it up. So, I mean, some good nights from players you would expect to have big ones. And Dallas got the job done. They hang on, and they needed to win again. DeBoer has not lost 3 straight games in regulation as a Stars head coach. It's pretty remarkable that if the Stars get on a bit of a skid, it doesn't turn into a streak really. It's 2, and that is it. Ottinger won his 125th game. It's the most not the most wins, but if you look at the most wins through 200 starts in NHL history, Ottinger is now 4th on that list, just a couple of behind Igor Shesterkin. So a big win for Otter, and he was great last night as well. A lot of things to get to since I was absent a few days this week over Thanksgiving. Dumba again was scratched last night. Lundqvist was back. Miss Rope on Wednesday. Stankoven was out, so a ton we have to get to, but we have to discuss the 5-man rotation because it gave me flashbacks a little bit last night, and I don't think this is going to be the permanent solution, but Dallas needs a solution is the point. And we'll get into that in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Game Time. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets for your favorite live events even easier. Game Time Picks filters out all the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats, so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. Game Time gives you the option to see the view from your seat before you buy, and they have the lowest ticket price guarantee, or Game Time will credit you 110% of the difference. Want to go to a Stars game, a Cowboys game, you want to go to a comedy, theater, you name it, they have it on Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets on Game Time. You can download it on your phone. It takes 30 seconds, and go ahead, download that Game Time app, create an account, and use the code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create account, redeem code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is also brought to you by Built Rewards. With the seasons changing, I know you're already dreaming of that warm weather getaway, using the points for travel, and always looking for ways to earn more to book your next flight. Here's a life hack. Get Built. Built lets you earn points on rent payments and redeem them towards flights, hotels, and a lot more. One of your biggest investments should get you more than just a roof over your head. And let me explain. There's no cost to join Built. And as a member, you earn valuable points on rent and on your everyday spending. Built points can be transferred to your favorite hotels and airlines, even the ones you haven't heard of. There are over 500 airlines and 700,000 hotels and properties around the world you can redeem your Built points towards. Points can also be redeemed towards future rent payments and unique experiences that only Built members can access. So if you're not earning points on rent, my question is, why not? Start earning points on rent you're already paying by going to joinbuilt.com/LockedOnNHL. That's JOINBILT.com/LockedOnNHL. Make sure to use our URL so they know we sent you. JoinBuilt.com/LockedOnNHL to start earning points on your rent payments today. Well, I couldn't help but have flashbacks to last spring as Petrovic was recalled from Texas the other day, and he played last night. And this all stems from some comments from Pete DeBoer at Morning Skate on Friday. And he basically got into to a point that I've sort of made so far this season. Like, okay, like we're 20 games into this thing. Like you either kind of have it figured out or you don't. And he mentioned that the team is running out of runway for some of the new players to acclimate to this new system, and it's time to start winning games. And we saw Dumba and Smith out last night, and Petrovic and Lundqvist were in. By the way, Lundqvist was really good in his return in that second period, especially. Oh, he had a couple of great scoring chances and made a couple of really nice defensive plays off the rush. I would be remiss not to touch on him for a bit because I thought Lundqvist looked very good in his return, and he's pretty much been that way so far this season. So on the comment from DeBoer, look, the cat's out of the bag. Matt Dumba's not working, right? Matt Dumba's not working. And a lot of us were saying this on July 1st when the Stars signed him, right? And look, Lyubushkin has been a surprise and has been great. I'm not going to sit here and tell you I was all thrilled and, dancing around that the Stars got Lyubushkin. I had questions about him too, and he's been great. I was wrong on Lyubushkin. I've been right on Dumba, and I think a lot of other Stars fans would agree. But when you talk about the system that DeBoer wants to play, and of course it's all about killing plays in the corner, outnumbering the puck and moving it quickly. Offense. It's what it's predicated on: possession and offense. Matt Dumba really isn't that type of player. That's not Matt Dumba's game. This isn't necessarily a system that suits him. And if you want him to be physical, well, he's going to take himself out of place sometimes. That's the nature of his game. And when he's on the ice and he's being physical, I love that. I really do, because that's his strength. He's not going to give the Stars 50 points this season. And he's not going to be a guy that's, joining the rush all the time and going to be on the power play. Not his game, not his strength. If he's going to be physical, he's going to be physical. But you can't be surprised or I guess say like almost be disappointed in his game because he's not fitting into the system, because it's not his game. It's not his game. So then it becomes a conversation. Okay, well, maybe it just wasn't a good signing, right? Maybe you shouldn't have signed that type of player because he doesn't fit into your system, but they obviously wanted to get stronger, or they wanted to get more physical. They wanted some more grit in their game. So, right, it's always a balance, but don't have buyer's remorse when you knew what he was. It's not like Dumba was Niels Lundqvist, where there was some unknown. There was still some room for him to grow as a player. Like, Dumba's in his 30s. Like, we know what Matt Dumba was, right? We know what type of player he was. And Brendan Smith, I thought, has been fine. He's been okay, but Brendan Smith is Brendan Smith. He's played over 600 games in the NHL. Like, yeah, he doesn't fit to your system. I think a lot of people could have told you that coming in to this season, and that's why we've all been here. Well, yeah, they're going to have to make a deadline move. That's the case if they truly want to be a contender, right? And I said this a few episodes ago. I don't think this team is better than they were pre-Tanev last season. I don't see it. They have too many lapses defensively. I'm saying that about a team, and I am saying this about a team that's top 5 in goals against. So maybe I'm off my rocker here, but I think it could be worse for Dallas. I think a lot of their offensive talent and Duchesne has covered up some of the I think they should be more probably where Colorado is right now, than what the record says about Dallas. I really believe that, just from an eye test standpoint. And maybe the numbers don't back me up, but I don't necessarily love the way the Stars have played outside of like one line, right? They don't look as dangerous as much as you would like. And I think Ottinger has been fantastic. And I think he's made the Stars look pretty good on some nights. And, DeSmith hasn't been fantastic as a backup. And not that it was his fault on Wednesday, where Dallas just, crapped the bed, to put it lightly. They just crapped the bed in that Chicago game. There's a lot of room for improvement. But right, the cat's out, right? Like, Dumba's not working. And as I was saying, and the point I was kind of getting to, it gave me some flashbacks, just because, Petrovic played 8.5 minutes last night. Can we really go through this again? And Lundqvist played 15.5. Like, that was a lot for Neil. Like, Niels was Petrovic last year. Like, can we really go through, and he's sort of making a point. I get that. But if it's December and we're already in this, like, okay, like, we're going to play, 4 defensemen, and, the 5th guy is going to chip in a couple of shifts each night. But if it's a close game, he may play 8 minutes. He may play 7 if it's really close. And I know they have to win games, right? and they had to win games to get the number 1 seed right last season towards the end, and they were running Heiskanen into the ground, and they were playing Harley a lot, and Lindell. They were playing Tanev a ton, and the consequences rear their ugly head in the postseason. So they have to find solutions, because Petrovic 8 minutes a night, and it's just not going to work. And it's one game, by the way. I don't want to act like I'm overreacting, but it could become a trend, and I don't think it's a successful one. Stars need stability on the back end, because they're not going to get it from Dumba and Smith every night. That's not the type of players they are, right? Smith should be your 7th defenseman. That's your 7th defenseman. He's not going to be a stable body back there night in and night out for you. So I have concerns about that. I do, because we saw it last season, and albeit it's really early now. It's December, but they have to get better. They just have to get better, because Winnipeg is really good right now. Minnesota's good, even though I think if Dallas played them in a series, they'd be fine. But you can run into the Connor McDavids of the world, and they will eat you alive, especially if your top guys are not playing the way they need to be. And we sort of get evidence of that last night, right? Dallas did enough, but the best players for Colorado were their best players. For Dallas, it was Miro. And Rope and Robo had some spurts. I have to say that, spurts, but it can change things when your top players are better than a better team necessarily. And that's kind of how we thought of the Stars against Edmonton last season. You need some of your guys to pick it up. So anyways, that's my gripe. That's my gripe coming out of really what was a huge win for Dallas. I don't want to get away from that. I thought they played a really solid game. A solid game for the most part. Okay, Dallas now has to turn their heads to another division game. And, it's a massive one. A chance for them to cut into the Central Division lead and another measuring stick contest against the Jets. We'll discuss that for a bit in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by FanDuel. Get ready to tackle the NFL action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, because right now new customers can bet $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if you win. The FanDuel Sportsbook app gives you everything you need to place live bets on the NFL all in one place. So when you get that hunch in the middle of the game, you can check out the latest stats, view live play-by-play, and so much more on the same page where you place your bets. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. You'll get started with $150 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. That's FanDuel.com. Never waste a hunch and make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. We'll touch on this for a bit and get out of here. It's a bit of a longer episode here today, because a lot of stuff we had to get into after a sort of chaotic week for the Stars that started on Saturday with a win over Tampa Bay, and then Monday happened. Check out that one. I had a very good rant on after the Carolina game that I posted yesterday, because I was fighting a virus all week. It's been a week, but I'm happy to be with you on this Saturday. The Winnipeg Jets, they have stumbled a bit more as of late. They lost the other night to Vegas 5-4. They're still lighting the world on fire for the most part, but they are 5-5 in their last 10, and that dates back to the Stars shellacking they gave Dallas at home. But they have lost to Nashville, LA, and Vegas in 3 out of their last 5 games. So they're not pumping teams like they were. Their penalty kill has dipped a bit. They're still top 5 in goals for and goals against. Power play is fantastic, 32%. And Hellbuck is Hellbuck, right? He's been brilliant. So look, it's another fantastic test for Dow. I'll say this. I won't be upset if the Stars lose unless they get pumped like they did in Winnipeg, where they just didn't show up. I want to see them elevate their game and just play with Winnipeg, right? That's really all I'm asking at this point. Can you just like raise your level against a really good team, right? A really good team. They're leading the NHL, right? 18-6. They lead the Central, and for as much as that Central Division lead has been pretty big, I mean, Dallas wins. They're just 6 points behind Winnipeg, and they have a game in hand. So it's not like some insurmountable lead, and they've lost 2 in a row. If Dallas can start to pick up momentum, but we've seen this. Just when you think Dallas is starting to kind of put it together, then they get shellacked in a third period by Carolina, and then they get smoked by Bedard and the Blackhawks in the middle of the week. So they have to start putting some games together. And again, I think it starts with playing Ottinger more. They have to play him. They have to play him. Does Smith look? He's not Wedgwood, and I think Wedgwood was a really, really solid backup goaltender for Dallas over the past few seasons. And it's not like Wedgwood has had a great year in Nashville, and he just got traded. By the way, he just got traded to Colorado this morning. So, I just like DeSmith is good, and yes, you have to get DeSmith into a game, but like the Wednesday game, after what the Stars faced on Monday against Carolina, go back to Ottinger. Let him respond. Let him be the guy in net. Let him be the guy. I am really leaning on him, and maybe that's a minority view because they want you want Otter to be well rested for the postseason, but boy, I just feel like the more you play him, the better he's going to get. And he's put up really, really good numbers this year. I mean, you look at, his goal save above expected. That's top 10 in the NHL. His goals against is in the top 10. His save percentage is just outside the top 10. He hasn't been, lights out. He's had some stinkers over the last, few weeks. But, I mean, I just you see a game like last night, you're like, yeah, if you didn't have him, Colorado probably runs away with that game. They run away with it. So it's a big one. It's a big game, and it could be a turning point in the season if Dallas is able to pick up a win. I think it would just do massive for their confidence. It haven't beat a lot of great teams, especially on home ice. I think it would do wonders for their confidence, and it could be a boost heading into December. It could be a huge, huge boost. So I'm really looking forward to a little Sunday matinee puck drop at 3:30 on Victory Plus. So looking forward to that one. It's the big one. It's the big one on a Sunday. So yeah, that's what I have. That's what I have for tomorrow. A little bit of a longer episode for you today because you all deserve it since I've been a bit absent. So I wanted to get into a little bit of everything. Yeah, I hope Stanky's okay. Just said, they said he was dealing with a tweak as Rope was on Wednesday. So, there's some guys going in and out of the lineup, which you would expect to. I mean, look, Dallas is playing a condensed schedule with the Global Series, so there's going to be some guys that need some days off. It stinks, that's for sure. But they have plenty of depth up front, especially with guys that can fill in. And they can win games, right? The back end's a bit different. Yeah, they maybe have some depth, but it's not very quality, to say the least. So I'm intrigued. The next few weeks, I'm very intrigued to see where this decor goes, because it's feeling a lot like last season now, where it's like, okay, well, Lundqvist is going to play 5 minutes a night, and we're just going to ride the big hosses. And I just don't think it's a successful solution. So that's sort of my point. Anyways, be sure to subscribe. We're almost to 2,500 subscribers here on Locked On Stars. Big round of applause to all you wonderful Stars fans and everydayers out there. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving weekend, got some great food, spent it with some friends and family. I had a fantastic one. Even went to WinStar the other night. Got to the table. It's been a while. Had the itch back a bit. It was it was fun. It was a good weekend. So I hope everybody else did. Like, comment, let me know your feelings on the Stars right now heading in to the month of December. As always, thank you so much for the love and support. Truly blessed to be able to do this. We'll be back to every day starting on Monday, and we'll continue to kick this thing along. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you on Monday. So long, Stars fans.